So if you're watching this video, you're probably wondering, is it a good time to invest in dividend stocks? And as you guys can see right now, I have SCHD, the dividend equity ETF offered by Schwab. I have that up on the screen right now. And as you guys can see, we're going to dive into it and figure out if it's a good time to be buying dividend stocks. And I'm going to use SCHD as my baseline. And we're going to go in and look at all of the different holdings to see if it is a good time to buy SCHD and if it's a good time to buy some of the holdings that are in SCHD. Now let's get into it. Now, before we get started, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of the new content that I have coming out on the channel. I am a dividend investor. I am also a swing trader, and I always keep things in perspective with the long-term goals that I have set for myself in mind. So if you guys like some of that stuff, make sure y'all hit that like button and subscribe. Now let's get into the video. So right now, SCHD, I'm looking at this in pre-market, and we're sitting at around $73, which is actually a pretty good price. But for me, I'm actually going to hold off and see what happens. I know that we're heading over and we're going to run into some major resistance at $74. We've already started to kind of trade within this little range right here, this little zone. We are trading above the 200 EMA, but I do want to see how price reacts, because if price ends up breaking down and coming down into the 70s, I will want to start writing some cash secure puts and putting some of the extra capital that I have been holding off on and start buying some more of these shares. So that's really what I'm looking for here as SCHD is kind of entering its consolidation period. I want to see what it does around 74. If it breaks out of this zone and continues to go up, I might start averaging in a little bit, and then hopefully we get a pullback coming back down to the spot where it broke out from, and then I'll really go ahead and add some more shares. Now, keep in mind, I'm always looking at these trends and keeping my long-term vision in mind. I always am investing every single week. However, I do keep some cash on the sideline, so when I get a dip or something that's attractive, I can go ahead and buy a lot more shares. So let's get into some of the holdings in SCHD, because I think that this is actually going to allow us to see, is it a good time to buy SCHD? Because I think this is going to be good to allow us to find out if it's a good time to be buying some of these other dividend stocks. So some of the top holdings in SCHD, we have Broadcom, Amgen, Verizon, AbbVie, Home Depot, and Coca-Cola. So we're gonna do those 6 stocks. We're gonna take care. We're gonna dive into those and see what's going on. So first of all, let's go ahead and let's go into Broadcom. So Broadcom right now is currently trading at about $1,000, and it is actually ripping. One of the highest holdings in SCHD. And at the moment, I'm gonna be honest, if you guys haven't been investing in Broadcom since early 2023, mid 2023, I probably wouldn't be going and adding shares right now, because this thing is on a complete tear. You want to try to see if you can get something where it comes back down and retest maybe 913 or even possibly 996. So right now, this thing is moving way too wild, and I don't think it's something that I want to mess with. Next up on the list, we have Amgen, ticker symbol AMGEN. And right now, you guys can see it's pretty much just trading in a range. It is at the higher part of the range. Let's just go ahead and draw some lines here really quick. This seems like a pretty good spot. Support has touched it and used it as support and resistance before. Over here, we have a spot where it's used it as resistance, but it never has been tested as support. So we know that this is the top end of our range. And we also have an area up around 288, 285, 290. So right now, at the moment, I would say, if you believe that it's a great time to be bullish Amgen, then I mean, buying at these prices probably wouldn't be too bad, unless you guys want to wait for an even deeper pullback. It is trading above the 200 EMA, so at the moment it's currently in an uptrend, and it looks like it's going to continue. Right, we see this nice little trend line that's forming here. It's looking, it's looking pretty bullish to me, I would say. So if anything, if you guys want to wait for that pullback, you might want to wait for a price somewhere in between 247 to 259. So go ahead and really add some more shares. I don't think this is going to drop too much from there. This is one of those super blue chip names, super safe stocks that, to be honest, to catch a discount on some of these on shares for this stock, it'll be extremely hard. So I wouldn't be opposed to adding shares. Next up on the list is Verizon. If you guys are big fans of the telecommunications company, Verizon is, trading at some of its lows right now. It's currently trading at around $37. The last time it was at this price was about April 16th of 2012. So Still a super good price if you're bullish communication stocks. I personally don't think that there's that much growth. I think that they will continue to earn revenue and continue to be a solid company, continue to pay out its dividends. However, I do like to find companies that not only pay dividends, but are also going to grow in the coming years. So this is kind of one of those things where you've got to decide whether you think Verizon is going to be a great growth company coming forward. And I honestly think the chances are slim. However, they are trading at a huge discount. So it is a perfect opportunity that if you've come to the conclusion that you want to have Verizon in your portfolio, this is a great time to add to this stock. Next up on the list is ticker symbol ABBV, also known as ABV. And at the moment, we are currently in a range. And actually, we're kind of at the lower end of the range. This is probably the top end right here. And then let's see, where have we been used? I'd probably say somewhere around here has been used as support and resistance. It just recently bounced off of that. So kind of in the middle of that range. I wouldn't say it's necessarily the best time to add shares, but I wouldn't say that it's the worst time. If you believe that you're bullish, that this is going to continue to be bullish, and I believe that these healthcare stocks are going to continue to lead the way going into 2024. I think this is one of the sectors that hasn't moved as much as the rest of the market. I think that healthcare will actually be one of the best performing sectors of 2024. Don't quote me on that. But AbbVie does seem to be a company that is positioned very well and can continue to do well. And this is a price point where you're not buying at the extreme highs, but you're getting a price somewhere in the middle where it's traded in the range for the last 2 years. And unless we have any negative catalyst, this should be a perfect opportunity to go ahead and continue adding shares to the portfolio. Next on the list is ticker symbol Home Depot. I've traded this multiple times this year, and at the moment it has been in a range in between $333, $342 and $279. So it's pretty much just been bouncing in between here. We haven't gotten any real moves. Personally, I wouldn't add shares at the top end of this range because we might end up getting some resistance and coming back down and allowing you to get a better entry somewhere around the 200 EMA at around $307, or possibly being able to add shares again at $279. Unless any positive catalysts come out to Home Depot, that is going to be the only way that it wants to break past this 341 zone. If it comes out and smashes earnings, then we can potentially get that run up into the 400s again. However, I wouldn't necessarily, that's a high risk trade for me if I'm going to trade that stock. If I'm looking for long-term adds, I just don't think that this is the best price for me to add. I think that we'll most likely get another pullback and allow me to get a better price in this 341. If you think that earnings are going to be really good, well, then you might want to start adding some shares here. Hopefully you get that run up to the 400. And last up on the list is ticker symbol Coca-Cola. Ticker symbol KO, company Coca-Cola. And this is actually pretty interesting because it had a little pullback and it started recently trading around its same March 2020 levels. I'm sorry, not March 2020, February 2020 levels. So we had a nice little dip here, great buying opportunity when it came back, cracked 59, ended up coming back into the zone here at 53. Fantastic opportunity to add more shares to the portfolio. And right now, even at $59, trading right at the 200 EMA, I think this is still a fantastic opportunity to go ahead and add more shares, as it would now start entering the bottom of a range that it has set in between 59 and 66. So this is a great opportunity to go ahead and add more shares and hopefully ride this thing back up to $65 as it continues to work towards all-time highs. So Coca-Cola, definitely a good time to start adding some shares and start accumulating a fantastic position in a great long-term dividend-paying stock. Now, that's all I have for you guys today, man. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure y'all check out the bestdividendcalculator.com to figure out how to start building wealth. This is a free tool that I dropped for you guys where you can input the information, research companies, figure out how much a company might pay you in dividends, understand how much you can gain in capital appreciation, factor in the dividend yield, and see how much you could be making in 10, 20, 30 years in your dividend payments in your portfolio. So be sure y'all check that out, thebestdividendcalculator.com. As always, man, links down in the description if you want to follow me on Twitch or on Twitter. I do stream, and I also have trade ideas that I post on my Twitter. So hopefully you guys hit those links, man. Follow me on there. Say what's up. Y'all already know, though, it's your favorite investor, man. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Peace.